Muy buenas a todos, soy Focumero, esto es Focumero Gaming. Estamos un día más en Spellforce 3. Ya hemos hecho un aliado humano. Toca hacer orco y elfos. Vamos allá por los orcos. Además hemos añadido uno más en nuestro grupo. No vamos a perder más tiempo. Este está aquí. Vamos a buscar a los orcos. O al que sea. En teoría, con lo que acabo de hacer de los humanos ya podría seguir avanzando en la historia principal, pero bueno. Si hay una gran batalla, quiero que haya un gran número de unidades. Y para eso me hace falta pues tener los tres bandos. Entonces, está aquí. Creo que aquí estaba el orco, esperándome. Por aquí no hay nada. Muy grande el terreno, pero no hay nada. Bueno, pues habrá que ir a pie de garra, creo que se llamaba. Hoja de sombra. Vale, pues ya está decidido. Hoja de sombra será los elfos y esto, y los pies de garra pues los orcos. Que a la vez de tú sabes dónde estaba yo. ¿Dónde está Mulandir? Pues nada, vamos a... Es que estoy perdido ahora mismo, ¿eh? Vamos a hoja de sombra. Durante décadas los elfos Morgir, exilados de Fainon, han vagado por ello en busca de un nuevo hogar. En Notander les prometieron tierras propias, pero cuando estalló la rebelión de los magos fueron olvidados, muy rápidamente. Ahora, años después, se han refugiado en un asentamiento nómada en hoja de sombra, una selva densa y peligrosa en medio de la tierra de nadie, que hay entre Ultra y Wulfar. Misiones secundarias: corrupción. Venga, vamos allá. Ya somos 4.
For decades, the Mohir elves, exiled from Finnanmere, have roamed Io in search of a new home. In Nortander, they were promised lands of their own, but as the Mage Rebellion arose, they were quickly forgotten. Now, years later, they have taken shelter in a nomadic settlement in Leafshade, a dense, dangerous jungle, amidst the no man's land between Utran and Wulfgar.
Vamos allá.
All right. The Morhir settlement should be a little further to the north.
¿Cuánto tiempo lleva viviendo aquí los Morgir?
How long have the Morhir been living here?
Well, they left Finnanmere about 30 years ago, and they were sent to settle here 8 years after their arrival. So that's 22 years now.
Pretty long, considering Leafshade was just meant to be a stopover.
I'm sure they feel the same way. But then again, I understand why finding a new home for fugitive elves wasn't on top of the Crown's priority list after the Mage Wars broke out.
All right then, what's the plan?
Well, I suggest we try to find their settlement first and then talk to their scryers. They're the ones who make the decisions.
Good, then lead the way.
Just give the word.
Now would you look at that?
Bueno, vamos para arriba. ¿Esto qué es? Un cervatillo. Nos han comido en un trozo de carne. Pues sí, es extraño.
Now
¿Qué
would
es?
you look at that?
Son lobos. encuentra el asentamiento de los Morgir. Está aquí por la izquierda.
That way?
That's the way.
Hay que pasar el puente. Y además hay un cofre aquí arriba.
Fair enough. Let's do this.
You read my mind. Let's see.
¿Esta no dice nada de que se han corrompido los elfos? Pues sigamos.
Sure.
Estaban corrompidos, tenían una nubecilla roja.
Sure.
Pero tenía que curar a la gente antes. Bueno, ya hemos llegado.
All right, here goes nothing.
Cura este. Creo que puse lo que no debía. Ahora.
You got it.
Whatever necessary.
Does this never end? All right, why not? This way, right?
¿Están por aquí abajo? Bueno, por aquí abajo. En el mapa es abajo, pero hay que subir la montaña ahora. Aquí había más enemigos. ¿Están todos envenenados?
Understood. Got it.
Get ready.
Not now. They will burn.
Cura, 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 cura.
Wait! Help me, somebody! Give me a moment to focus.
Not happening. I can't focus.
Ah, se han cambiado de... Me cago en la leche, jodida. Se han vuelto a intercambiar estos dos.
Sounds like a plan. You got
Vamos
it.
para arriba.
Sure.
¿Por aquí no es o qué?
Blasted armor.
No, por aquí no es. Por la izquierda. Hay un elfo trabajando.
I understand.
Sure.
Got it. Is this the village?
Should be. And don't ask me why there's no one guarding the entrance.
Let's take a look around.
A este.
Another human. Well, isn't that great?
We're just...
No, say no more. I know why you're here. Looking for some nice elven kin to enhance your bloodline, aren't you?
What?
Yes, that's what I thought. Well, why don't you join your fellow crossbreeders in the Wolfgar lands? There you can copulate all you want. Now sod off. Get away from me, you filth.
Pues vaya tela.
Yes, yes, come closer. I'm sure I have just what you need.
Bueno, este vende armas que tampoco me interesan ahora. Que este arco tiene buena pinta, ¿eh? De 2 manos, el resto que son báculos y más báculos. Pero no hay ningún arma a 2 manos que pueda llevar yo. Así que vamos para adelante.
Can't believe we're still having this discussion. Tell me, Arlen, where was Ellen in all those years when our people were on the run? Just face it, she never helped us. None of the Guardians did.
Well, maybe they would have if it weren't for heretics like you. We are Ellen's children, all of us.
We are the children of our mothers and our fathers, for heck's sake.
What? Who are you? Who let you in?
The gate was unguarded.
Really? Next thing you know, this place is being overrun by undead because the guards have all gathered to hear us bicker. You're from Greyfell, aren't you? I recognize that accent. I'm Arlen Finriar, first scryer of this settlement. What do you want?
I'm looking for allies, but let me start from the beginning.
Ah, so you're Isamo Tahar's child. Well, you're lucky, I believe, that the Guardians have given us all a free will. I can see that you're nothing like your father, and it's true that the bloodburn has to be ended. I can agree with those crazy cultists on that much.
So you're going to help us?
I would if I could, but as you may have gathered by now, we have our own battle to fight here. Ellen has cursed us.
¿Quién es el otro elfo? Ese con el que discutías. Que está aquí, por cierto.
Who is the other elf? The one you were arguing with?
A misguided fool. And sadly one with a very influential father, who made him the second scryer of this township.
¿Este pueblo tiene nombre?
Does this town have a name?
It does. Lathwain, which roughly translates as respite.
Respite? Sounds kind of temporary.
Well, it is. I don't know how familiar you are with our history, but after the Finnanmere exiled us, we were promised lands by the Queen. Then the Mage Wars came, and understandably our promised home wasn't of importance anymore.
Bueno, parece que este lugar tampoco está tan mal.
This looks like a nice enough place, though.
Well, save for the undead roaming through the forests and attacking us each night,
Ah, bueno,
yes.
entonces ya. ¿Por qué
That
rompisteis el
incident
tratado?
in Leonon won't make the Lord Marshal more sympathetic to your cause. You broke the White Mist Treaty.
Yes, and it was a horrible mistake. But the people were scared, particularly because Merilith did an excellent job at instilling fear and telling them that our little problem could be fixed by sending a group of scholars into Northander territory. And what good did it do? Nothing. You'd think that this failure would have shown the Moria how incapable Merilith is as a leader, but sadly, it didn't.
Bueno, entonces eso es temporal, ¿no? La ciudad se llama Respiro, después de todo.
I see. So Leafshade is only a stopover?
Yes. We will find our true home someday. I'm sure of that.
Y Ellen os ha maldecido, por lo que veo.
Ellen has cursed you?
Yes. Our lands are withering, and every 1 in 10 elves loses his mind. Their eyes turn black, they salivate like animals, and attack everything in sight.
And you think Ellen has inflicted this curse upon you?
I know. You see, since we Moria left Finnanmere, more and more of our people have fallen away from our faith. Some even blame the Guardians for our exile. Briefly put, we were cast out of the Finnanmere Empire after we expressed doubts about the Elven Council.
Yes, I know the story.
As you can imagine, the years we spent on the road searching for a new home were strenuous. And as a result of that, more and more of our people lost faith in the Guardians, which is ironic, since our faith was one of the reasons we were cast out in the first place.
Los guardianes se han vuelto más débiles.
Well, you can't deny that the Guardians have become weaker.
That is true. But have you ever wondered why?
I guess you have?
Yes, indeed. They have withdrawn from this world because people have stopped believing. It has always been our belief, our unwavering faith, that had made them strong. Without it, there simply is no reason for them to care anymore.
You're assuming the Guardians behave like little children, take away their sweets, and they run off crying or start throwing tantrums.
It's not that simple. But I doubt this is the right time for a theological discussion.
Probably not.
And what does all this have to do with the corruption?
Isn't it obvious? It's Ellen's punishment for us turning our backs on her.
Curioso, están los tres andando con este de cara y este está
Ellen has
como
protected our
cabreado.
kind for millennia.
Además
And
de
now
no tener
we have
ojos.
betrayed her. This is her punishment.
Sí, Ellen ha protegido nuestra raza durante milenios y ahora la hemos traicionado. Este es su castigo. ¿Y no es más probable que sea cosa del borde de la sangre?
Isn't it more likely that this is simply the way elves react to the bloodburn?
No. Although rare, there have been cases of bloodburn among the Moria too, and they display exactly the same symptoms as humans. Varden Merilith simply likes to ignore that because it doesn't fit into his nice little theory. Also, why does it only occur in Leafshade, and only outside the city walls? The plague doesn't know borders.
¿Y si es una maldición, no tiene cura?
If it is a curse by Ellen, how can it be cured?
Of course. Despite all we have done, Ellen still considers us her children. What she wants is for us to remember her, to return to our true faith. In other words, it is a trial. All we need to do is to trust in Ellen's guidance. Then we will find a way to lift the curse.
¿Y no puede simplemente dar la orden?
If you're the first scryer, why do you need Merilith's approval?
Because that's how the Moria law demands it. The Council has to come to a mutual agreement, otherwise we cannot take action.
What do the other scryers think about that? How many are there?
4. 2 of them are with me, 2 with Merilith. You see the problem.
Bueno, ¿y se
If
puede
we
ayudar?
help you lift this curse, would you be willing to ally yourselves with us?
Well, the bloodburn is a scourge for all races, so, yes. Should you help us, I could take up the matter with the other scryers. But let me think about it first, will you? This isn't something I can decide on the spot.
Bueno, hay que hablar también con Barden, o Barden.
Salangar. A pure blood. Just when I thought this day couldn't get any better.
Not what I'd call myself. I haven't been in Finn and Mir for 8 years.
Is that so? Well, who am I to judge? Who let you in?
There weren't any guards.
What? Great. Just great. This is getting better and better. But please, forgive my manners. I'm Varden Merilith, second scryer of Lathwain. Who are you? And what do you want? Are you with the soldiers?
¿Qué soldados?
Soldiers?
The army folk. But if you have to ask, I suppose you're on your own. Tell me then, what brings you here?
That's a
Aliados.
long story.
Traen aliados.
So you're the corporal from Lianan? Well, that's a surprise. I know the story, and once more I would like to apologize for what Scryer Elion did. She should not have opened fire. And also, I would like to express my admiration for your courage. I know you refused to carry out the order your general gave you.
How?
A scout observed the conversation you had with that man. Either way, your story sounds bizarre, but I don't think you are lying. And after the events in Lianan, it's only fair if we help you now, to make up for it. Not to mention the fact that the bloodburn needs to be stopped.
So you'll provide us with troops?
It's not that simple. I have to bring up the matter before the other scryers, and they all have to agree. But not now. We currently have our own sack of problems to deal with.
O sea que los dos tienen que hablar con los adivinos del pueblo. Así que tendré que llevarme bien con los dos, porque son adivinos, claro. ¿Eres el líder de este lugar?
Are you the leader of this place?
One of them, yes. I'm the second scryer, and the Moorhere Council is made up of 6 scryers in total.
Por 6.
Actually, but our eldest passed away recently, which complicates the decision-making, as you can imagine.
¿Y qué problemas hay?
What problems do you have?
The short version? Leafshade has been struck by the bloodburn. Elves and animals are affected, and for some reason it has a different effect on us than it has on your race. It corrupts us.
Corrupts?
Drives us mad. And if that weren't enough, the Council can't decide on a course of action. Pathetic, isn't it? People are dying, but all we do is bicker.
¿Por qué estás en desacuerdo con Finrior?
Where do you and Finrior disagree?
Oh, that's simple. Finrior claims that the corruption has nothing to do with the bloodburn, but is a curse of the Guardians. Of Ellen, to be precise.
The Guardians aren't children throwing tantrums.
Yes. And in these days, I doubt they could even if they wanted to. The Guardians are gone. This is a fact we have to deal with.
So where do you think this corruption comes from?
As I said, I think it's just how we elves react to the bloodburn.
¿Y cuántos se han contagiado?
How many of you are affected?
Not as many as in your kind. 1 in 10, maybe. And for some reason, the infection only spreads outside the city borders.
No conozco bien el hervor. ¿Puedo ayudar?
As I said, I'm trying to find a cure for the blood burn. Maybe I might be able to help.
You want this alliance to happen as quick as possible, don't you? Well, yes, maybe your knowledge about the blood burn could indeed help us. Give me a moment to think this through, will you? There are some things I need to consider.
Bueno.
Now what?
Well, if there's any way to get their support, it's by helping them cure this corruption.
The proof of the pudding is in the eating, isn't it? I say we help the old one, Finrir. Merilith seems a tad too convinced of himself for my liking.
Then let's let them know.
Corporal?
All right, this is pointless. Does your offer still stand? An outsider who isn't dependent on the Council's approval might be just what we need.
Yes?
Salagar, this is getting ridiculous. If nothing happens, we'll still be arguing in our graves. Tell me, your offer, does it still stand? An outsider who isn't dependent on the council.
Me cae mejor esto porque piensa con la cabeza y no con el tema de la religiosidad.
As I said, I'm happy to help.
Good. Blazes, you have no idea how good it is to talk with a person of reason for once. Come, let's discuss this elsewhere.
Vale, vamos a discutir. Un capítulo para hablar.
That way. All right.
That's better. Blasted, isn't it incredible how this old man is unwilling to see reason?
Parece muy devoto.
From his point of view, you're the one who's being stubborn. He seems to be a very pious man.
There's a difference between being pious and being deluded. Anyway, all the better you're here. Let's discuss how we proceed. What we need first is proof to convince Arlen. As long as he insists on fighting that plague in prayer shrines, we cannot take any real action.
What kind of proof did you have in mind?
That remains to be seen. First of all, scout Leafshade's surroundings. Just like the blood burn, the infections don't follow a clear pattern, but all of them took place outside the city walls. I will mark the place on your map where the activity has been most extreme. Secondly, there's a human military outpost nearby. To investigate, you'll need to ask for permission to cross their borders. After the disaster in Lianan, the last thing we want is another breach of our treaty.
¿Quiénes son esos humanos?
Who are these humans?
As I said, I believe they are from the Royal Army. So far, our contact has been sparse, but they seem to be peaceful.
¿No te hace pensar que existe una cura?
If it really is the blood burn, what makes you think there is a cure?
I've asked myself the same question, but then I realize there's no point in worrying about it as long as that old fool is sabotaging our attempts to stop it.
¿Y no es peligroso?
If the jungle is corrupted, isn't it dangerous for us to scout it?
No, the infection doesn't happen instantaneously. If you were to stay longer, say for 2 or 3 days, it might get you. But for now, you're safe.
Very comforting.
Bueno, pues entendido.
All right. We'll do our best.
Yes, and thank you. I appreciate your help.
Y empezamos las misiones. ¿Quiere un santuario?
Nihal's hammer. I was beginning to think these discussions were never going to end.
No argument there. Let's go talk to the soldiers and see if they let us into their territory to find that proof. Yes?
A ver qué hace en ese santuario.
That's the way.
Me imagino que hay una especie de purificación tuyo. Investiga la hoja de sombra, encuentra pistas sobre la corrupción, revisa el santuario que hay al norte, espera la variedad que hay al sur. Y el primero, bueno, el tanque, vale. Uno de los tanques. A ver, ¿qué hay que hacer aquí?
Oh, do you smell that?
Yeah, like carrion.
And the water has the same color as the blisters on the corrupted.
If you ask me, we just found the cause of this plague. And it's definitely not a curse.
What's next?
Bueno, era evidente.
Sure.
Bueno, chavales, voy a dejar por aquí el episodio. Pendiente estas 2 exclamaciones. Una es la de explorar la arboleda y otro es pedir permiso a los humanos. Y nada más. A ver cómo se desenvuelve esto. Cuando lleguemos a los elfos quedarán los orcos. Y tras esto, pues avanzaré a la misión principal, que ya quedará poquito. Nada más, chavales. Nos vemos en la próxima.